This is the story of Mitch, a man who by all appearances had a perfect life, a devoted husband, a father, a man whose days were filled with ordinary comfort, until something subtle began to unravel the world he thought he knew. And Kayla was an intelligent, confident, and captivating. Mitch had noticed her in college. She was hard to read, sometimes distant, sometimes warm, but she never completely rejected him. Mitch fell in love slowly, quietly. Kayla, guarded yet intrigued, kept him on edge. Over time, their interactions deepened, and eventually, Mitch and Kayla began a relationship. By the time college ended, they were inseparable, and shortly after, they married. Life seemed to follow their dreams. Both Mitch and Kayla found fulfilling careers, work that challenged them, but also rewarded them. And then they bought their dream home, a place that felt like it had been waiting for them all along. Soon, they welcomed their first child, filling their home with even more laughter and life. A few years later, their second child was born. Life was good, steady, predictable, content. One evening, Kayla was out with the kids, leaving Mitch at home alone, watching football. The house was quiet, the sounds of the game filling the empty space. And that's when he noticed it, a red lamp in the corner of the living room. At first, it was nothing more than a flicker at the edge of his vision. But soon, the lamp drew his attention, tugging at the edges of his mind. It felt wrong, not threatening, not violent, just off, unnatural. At first, the lamp appeared blurry, while everything else in the room was perfectly in focus. He looked at the TV, normal. He looked back at the lamp. It was blurry. He rubbed his eyes. Nothing changed. For a moment, Mitch thought, "Am I having a stroke?" He walked over, touched it, and the lamp remained blurry. Deciding it was probably fatigue, he ignored it and returned to the game. But the lamp didn't stop. After a while, he noticed it again. Now, impossibly, the lamp was upside down and still blurry. He worried it might be a medical problem, yet he couldn't bring himself to call a doctor. He couldn't stop looking at the lamp. For hours, his vision and attention were consumed entirely by it. When Kayla and the kids came back, Mitch's fixation finally broke. He thought he should tell Kayla about the lamp, but for reasons he couldn't explain, he couldn't. They went to bed, and then everything changed. After Kayla fell asleep, Mitch went downstairs and sat on the couch. The lamp wasn't on, but even in darkness he could see it, blurry, upside down. All night, he sat in silence, staring at it. In the morning, Kayla found Mitch still on the couch, locked in on the lamp. "What are you doing?" she asked. Mitch snapped out of the trance. "I'm not feeling well," he said. "I can't go to work." Kayla was surprised, as Mitch never missed work, but said nothing and left for the day, the kids gone to school. Alone, Mitch stared at the lamp all day. When Kayla returned in the evening, all the lights were off except the lamp. Mitch was unresponsive, fully consumed by it. Frightened, Kayla called a doctor, but Mitch couldn't hear her anymore. Soon, everything faded. Even Kayla disappeared. Only the lamp remained. The lamp grew larger, filling his vision, consuming him. Darkness surrounded him. Pain exploded in his head. A high-pitched ringing filled his ears. He heard screaming, but could see nothing. When he finally opened his eyes, he was lying on the ground, surrounded by people who looked like college students. He wasn't home. He searched for Kayla, for the kids. There was nothing. He stood, shouting, but no one answered. A police officer charged through the crowd, lifted Mitch, and ran with him to a police car. His head pounded, confusion overwhelming him. "Where are you taking me? Where's my family?" he asked. "Sir," the officer said, "you hit your head. I'm taking you to the hospital." At the hospital, Mitch finally learned the truth. He was a senior in college, tackled during a football game. He'd hit his head on the ground and been conscious for only a few seconds. During that brief moment, his brain had constructed an entire life. A perfect life. Wife, children, a house. None of it had ever existed. They were not real. He had to grieve the loss of people who never existed, a life that was nothing more than a fleeting illusion. The weight of that revelation wrecked him. The perfect life he had lived in his mind had been taken from him before it ever existed. And to this day, Mitch still sees his son running toward him from the corners of his eyes, a ghost of a life that never was. Sometimes, the mind can create worlds so real, losing them feels unbearable.